I'm here with Joseph Yak Skull, the demo man from Venomcrest Pythons. Venomcrest Pythons?
No, just Venomcrest now.
Sorry, just Venomcrest.
Yeah, an upgrade.
An upgrade?
An upgrade.
Okay.
Moving up in the world.
We'll talk a little about your season first, Jack. Obviously, you finished in 5th.
Yeah.
We think.
Yeah.
But you were one of these teams that was very much sort of causing upsets, left, right, and centre. You know, you're sort of taking maps here and there. But then you had some maybe disappointing games against other people. You're one of these teams that no one could really place. How do you think your season went?
I think our season went fine. Like, we did well against the teams we wanted to. Mm-hmm. It's kind of difficult for people to stay motivated for an online season. It's like, we are a team that was like built to go to LAN and go to LANs, and we're here.
Yes.
And we kind of just play online because it's good practice.
Okay.
We're not. It would have been nice to make playoffs, and I think that if you were to like power rank the Prem teams right now, I think we would be the 4th or 3rd.
Instead of who, Yak, if I might ask?
Anti-side and maybe 4 fence.
You think you're above 4 fence?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you're placing Mandem above 4 fence?
Yeah, easily.
A lot of people are placing the reverse.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I really don't know why.
Mandem fans in the corner over here.
I wouldn't say fans, just realists.
Okay, alright,
Yeah.
I like it. Well, we'll look forward to LAN, as you're a LAN team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you, I mean, we've got to talk about it. Everybody knows. What happened at the airport, Yak?
Well, so I live in the Schengen zone, so I thought, well, I forgot my passport. And I
Your
I did
passport?
forget my passport.
Gotcha, okay.
I realised, I don't have it. I thought, it would be fine. I was like reading the internet. People were saying that they flew without a passport. I was just sitting there on the train, you know, slowly sweating, building on a sweat. It's like, fuck. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I was like getting stressed out, just looking, reading my phone, and just, yeah. People seemed to think it'd be alright. I got through security, I got to the gate, and then I was denied boarding. And
what happened? Did they just cart you out of the airport?
No, they were like,
next?
you just have to go out. You just walk back in. You walk back the way you came. And then I went back to Eindhoven station.
Oh my god.
Went home.
Yep.
And then whilst I was on the train home, bought a new plane ticket from Amsterdam.
How much?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay. Understandable.
I'm not going to talk about that. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. All I'm saying is we could go band for band.
Okay, and what time did you rock up last night?
So I got here at quarter past midnight, something like that.
Wow.
Checked into my hotel, straight to the Cheekers and Gorillas.
Cheekers and Gorillas, was it?
Straight to the Cheekers
all
and
night
Gorillas.
long?
Yeah, it was, but I was way too sober for it.
Okay.
Everyone else was in a state.
Having a good sesh.
And I was just way too sober for it. But, you know, it was decent.
Okay, mate, that sounds like a bit of a...
But once I got to Amsterdam,
Yeah?
so I went home, got my passport, because I thought, well, this can't happen again. I need to get here.
Yeah.
I grabbed my passport, got to Amsterdam. I didn't identify myself once.
No? You didn't show it the second time?
No, I got my boarding pass,
Yeah.
checked in,
Yeah.
gave them my bag that they put into the plane, went through security, no ID checks, no passport checks,
Nothing.
didn't need it. It was just
What a waste of
Eindhoven
time.
Airport and Wizz Air. Don't fly Wizz Air.
You heard it here, guys. Don't fly Wizz Air.
Don't fly Wizz Air. They make you buy a new plane ticket. Or just don't leave your passport at home if you don't have a European.
You're never going to do that
nationality.
again, are you? You're never going to do that again.
We'll see.
Okay. And sort of final one for you, Yak.
Yeah.
Who is your favourite cheater?
My favourite cheater?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Yeah?
Favourite of all time or right now?
You tell me, yeah.
Of all time, it has to be AZN.
Okay, AZN.
There were some really good moments. I really loved playing against him because it was really obvious. And then the moment that people decided to spend like 5 minutes looking at his demos, he was banned.
Bit suspect.
Yeah, and if we put the same amount of effort into some of the other cheaters that are currently playing.
Currently playing?
Oh yeah.
You have some allegations, yeah?
The guys that don't come to LAN.
Got any names for me, Yak?
Fancy Elf,
Okay.
EDK.
All cheaters is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Odin, the Demo Knight player,
Okay.
another cheater.
If you had to pick your favourite of the three?
Odin.
Odin.
Odin. No one does it like Odin.
No one does like Odin.
No one does it like Odin.
I do, you heard it here. Thanks for talking to me, Yak. I appreciate it,
no
and good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
I do.
Welcome back to poLANd.tf. Welcome back to the Anala Couch, as I'm going to be calling it. It's round 2, guys, and obviously new couch, new friends. We have Condawg with us here. You probably know him as the medic infamous for many a team, really. Also, we got Domaytoe, lovable Domaytoe, who has returned to the couch once more time. And we've got Triple from Choking Hazard. Welcome, Triple, welcome. All right, gentlemen, it is Venomcrest versus BIGBLOKELAN, Yak versus Mac. That wasn't a cringe at all. Condawg, already you've infected my couch with incredible cringe. Good job. How are you enjoying the LAN outside of a player perspective so far? Just to kind of walk you to the couch.
Yeah, thank you. It's a bit of a new experience.
Whoa, I want to hear you, sir. So please point the microphone.
How's this, mate? Is that
there you
good?
go, much better. Now I can hear you.
Bit of a new experience for me, Turbo. Obviously,
Yeah.
used to me, you know.
You used to be in a player, but so what's it like being on you know,
It's
on the
weird.
staff side?
It's very strange. You know, I'm used to being corralled around by all the staff here. Be here at this time. Be here. Oh wait, it's exactly the same on production. It's always the same, isn't it? But no, it's a great experience so far. Pretty excited for the game coming up. It's one of the, what I think is maybe one of the heavy hitters. You know, 2 of the potential upset teams, and I'm looking forward to it.
Domaytoe, LAN team this, LAN team that. What is a LAN team at this point? Every single team has been calling themselves a LAN team. What is the definition of a LAN team?
I would say the definition of a LAN team is if you put behind your name inactive because you don't play seasons, you don't have the time for that. You have time to forget your passport, that's for 1. You have time to run heavy to mid, that's for 2. But you don't have the time to play actively in seasons. But you can turn up to LAN, turn up, because honestly, I mean, I can qualify the notion that is a very nice thing, not only to do for your own like team synergy, but also for the community in itself. But I would say that's the definition of a LAN team for me.
Triple, you've been playing quite a few LANs now. You're quite LAN seasoned, so you know, do me a favor here. Just kind of outline to everybody out there, why is playing differently on LAN compared to online?
Well, I think for me it's been very much the Choking Hazard factor. Like first Choking Hazard season, it very much coincided with each other. And moving on from that, switching teams online and then coming back to these guys on LAN, it's a very different experience. Just how you talk to each other even. It's like you can show up and I'll call Matt the most vile things in the world, but I won't do that to somebody like Alba, who was on my team last season, right? And it's just gameplay-wise as well. You feel more confident. It's always just confidence is such a massive factor at LAN. I will never be taking these fights online. I'll tell you that for free.
Domaytoe, obviously all the pings are even here at LAN, all this stuff. Does that kind of help out a particular class at all at these LAN events, or is everyone kind of fighting kind of rough power same?
I'm always a profound proponent of saying it doesn't really matter your hardware or your software, because if you rely on that, you're just a bad gamer if you don't turn up anyway. But I will add, evidently, 5 ping rockets, man, or 0 ping rockets are sublime. I mean, scouts do carry you for quite some margin, but from my experience of entering LANs, it's usually a little bit soldiers being a little bit more vocal about how they like to play in a LAN environment.
Obviously, I bring up this point a lot, Condawg, because these 2 teams really define themselves as LAN teams. They think they're going to turn up to LAN. They think they do better at LAN. They shout really loud. You can hear them from the LAN. So,
Is that Yak
like,
now?
add some context to me here. Who are the loud teams? Who are the ones, like, why would they say such things about these, you know, and lead them into these teams a bit? Why?
I mean, obviously, I'll take away with the sort of Mac team. You know, BIGBLOKELAN. They've got probably some of the loudest people on LAN. Let's be real. Mac, Piggles, Leth. These guys, I mean, I was up there just now. First round, I was behind them as they got the first round of their LAN. They were yelling, whooping, hooting. They were giving it all, Turbo. You know, and they're here, they enjoy it. This is what they play for. They're not onliners. They didn't even play the season. Sure, we knocked them out, but, you know, they're here for LAN, and that's why they live it. And, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Before I take it away to Domaytoe, I just want to ask about that, because you were the one that actually did slay poor Mac's online dreams and along those lines. And obviously you've played against the entire lineup. There's a couple of changes here and there in this lineup. But I just want to quickly ask you, what do you think of Sale? This is a new face on the side of Mac's team. Like, has he got some promise, this kid?
I think Sale has a lot of potential. It's, I mean, Mac's a little bit known for this, about finding, talent in the sort of Div 1, Div 2 scene. And Sale, I've played with him a little bit in Pugs. And is known as a bit of a listener, like, is a learner, is keen, sort of demo reviewing, wants to know every little quirk about the game. And I think that's what you need if you really want to sort of hit those top heights. And I'm looking forward to seeing some good scout gameplay. Geordie, on the other hand,
He's there.
he's there.
He's there.
He's formerly
He's not bad, though. To say he's like switching from his soldier main class to a scout, it's like, could have been worse.
he's not bad, Tomo, but like if he's really going to be sort of cracking these top 4, then we're going to need to see some big things from him, really.
All right, we're going to have to power around it, lightning round for us, Domaytoe. Quickly, just touch upon us, who is Venomcrest and,
I wanted to build upon the foundation
right,
what,
okay,
what Condawg just said.
quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. I think since I also played a lot of packs with a Sale, you need to have like this coordination of, speakers and listeners. That is, that you can't all talk. And to Venomcrest, to quickly, sneakily segue into that, they have a lot of talkers as well, especially like Yak is always a very pivotal factor for them, but I feel like the other players do definitely revolve around that quite so well. So it's really difficult for me. I would maybe give Venomcrest the edge here even.
Triple, sadly, I've not managed to pick your brain that much, but and I haven't got too many words to spare in this our final hand break. So give us like 2 power words. Who do you think is going to win, and which player do you think is going to be the reason for them winning?
Not Yak, Sale.
Oh, I love it. All right, we'll throw it over to our casters. It's going to be Venomcrest versus BIGBLOKELAN. Take it away, boys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your second game of this poLANd.tf LAN covered by Essentials.tf. I am joined once again by Ben, poLANd, the PL, always coming in clutch for when we are in Poland. Ben, are you as excited for me for this one?
This is a classic, right? It's Mac versus Yak. It's the two teams who, I don't know, we're talking about LAN teams from the desk. Like, if I was to name 2 teams at this LAN that are LAN teams, it's these 2. These guys are pumped, they're hyped, they're screaming, they're out drinking all the time, they are loving it, and they live for LANs like this. And to meet up round 2 of the first day, what a treat.
Yeah, I mean, they are just kind of the heart of this. And we saw these 2 teams, slight iterations of these 2 teams in Dortmund as well, have some of the closest games we saw. And we saw big upsets coming from this Venomcrest side. A slightly different Mac team, also doing super, super well, get themselves all the way to the finals here. So they definitely are both teams with something to prove. I think these will be the sort of teams that we're looking for, these top 3, top 4 kind of spots. And they're the type of teams who can definitely, bring out, something a little bit different, something a little bit crazy. I mean, especially when we're talking about Venomcrest here. They like some funny stuff, don't they?
They like all the funny stuff. They will run genuinely anything. Any unlock, you don't even know what it does, they'll run it at some point, right? They had the classic wheeled out at some point in Prem in the last couple of weeks, and it made it work. I think, was it Junior who went like 26 kills in the classic or something on products? Like, I don't know, they'll run absolutely anything, and they'll make it work against some of Europe's best teams. So on LAN as well, if you're able to do that, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we had a little bit of chat from our desk about, there's a big bloke LAN team. I need to make sure to not call them Big Bloke Season because they didn't even get into the season. So they're a LAN-only team. They have been practicing a little bit in the meantime here, but it's a bit of a mix-up here. Geordie going onto that scout. Haven't seen him previously on that. Obviously, they were talking about Sale, a big up-and-comer. And then Mac is back on his class. He's back on Demo Man. He's previously, won a couple of ETF2L scenes on it before, and then picking up Piggles on Medic feels like such a good pickup. We love Piggles here. We are the biggest Piggles glazers, I think.
It's such a good team. I was speaking to Warps about this the other day and like how they've sort of spent their time, obviously, because they haven't played the season. And they said they've been scrimming really hard the whole time, and they've really enjoyed it. Like Warps was saying that like the Sale and Geordie combo, like which they're the sort of the 2 unknowns, right? Geordie going to scout and Sale coming in, like. Warped was like, well, these guys have been coming along great this whole season. They've apparently had great scrim results. Vibes are perfect. So, like, Warped was very, very confident.
Yeah, maybe it's a real positive that, you don't really get to play in the season. There's not really that pressure, right? You just turn up to scrims. You have a good time. You can work on things outside of it in these lower pressure scenarios. And then when it really matters, when there's money on the line, cold, hard cash, you can bring out your best game. But saying that, Venomcrest now been playing for a few seasons with this exact roster, right? This Vanu Juno on Scouts, always super solid. And then KN and Teram on those soldiers, again super solid. KN always coming out with the craziest air shots. We
Always
saw
in the frag
Teram in
video.
that intro video with a massive one as well. So these soldiers could be going absolutely crazy. And then, yeah, Yak, their main caller, coming along with Eon as well. He's already asking people to come to Parkrun as well. Yak's a socialite in this server.
Yeah, absolutely right. We saw the interview on TF2. I think he's just here for the Parkrun, to be honest. That's what he's like. He comes through. He just tries to recruit his gang to get up at 9 AM on the Saturday. All run down with alcohol after a late Friday night. They're all straight
so
up
he can
to
make
the
sure he
park.
beats everyone.
Yeah, well, it's like even in Dortmund, right? I was like walking out of the hotel on like the first day. We had like an early call time, and I saw Yak coming back from a morning run. Like, he is so keen with that stuff.
Yeah, he went for one this morning, he said, as well, so he's definitely a keen player, and we will have to see how they perform in-game, though. Has Yak's morning run powered him up, or is he feeling the fatigue in his legs? It is going to be BIGBLOKELAN in blue and Venomcrest in the red here as we start on your second game here. Ben, take us away to this first mid.
Here we are on the first mid of Sunshine as we've got Mac just rolling out on the Valley side so far. Actually being denied a lot of space here by the Venomcrest combo, who take a lot of space towards the point onto Bell as well. But they managed to creep their way in now. BIGBLOKELAN. We might be seeing a slower repair. Bloke already going in behind 2. This could get messy in a moment because Ty's swinging around. Bloke actually bombing in 2 and doing massive damage in the death corner.
Yeah, really nice bomb there. Gets a load of damage, but luckily Eon is surviving here, which might be exactly what they need. But, oh, it's actually finally Eon going down here. It should be Pickles getting out. Jordy has taken him all the way back out to second here. So while we will see this first mid going towards Venomcrest, it should be a recapture when these Ubers and players all come back up. But with them capturing the mid, it means they can set up for a sack, they can set up for spam, or they can set up a Vanu on the sniper to try to get the force so they come through doors.
It has taken 1 minute for the first off-class to come up, and it's Vanu going to be picking up the rifle here on Venomcrest. Like you say, enough kills came through that it forced BIGBLOKELAN into a situation where they can get back in. Vanu got a couple of attempts at shots over towards this pushing combo in the blue, but it seems that they are going to be able to take it for free and actually catching Teram on the way out. There's still advantage here. 50% is the Uber charge on Eon, so there is still time to work with here. And they actually want to walk it in. Piggle is already walking around towards Cafe, around to choke. Vanu trying to land a couple more shots, but just can't do the damage.
Absolutely no respect for Vanu there. They're just walking right into his sidelines. That's 120 to the demo. Luckily, it's not your medic being taken down there, but now getting a pick allows them to walk back in here on Venomcrest, and they want to keep taking this pressure. They nearly have an Uber of their own, and actually it's kind of big balls to come out on only 85%. If you know they make the call that you don't have Uber there, they could have been in a really bad position. But look, they want to keep going. This is the Yak theory. Just keep going forward, take all the space until they won't give it to you for free, and now they won't because they're going for a trade.
Yeah, Trade's trying to get these spawners up. Mac and Warp blowing the respawn queue. Mac might be able to join the end of this fight, but for now it's all eyes on these combos, all eyes on this scout trade. And it might actually be going a little bit dicey here for Piggles, who falls on the retreat out towards Choke. Going to get a massive, massive advantage now for Venomcrest. Not only have they got the frags, they've also got an Uber ad to work with when they start walking forward into second. I say walking forward into second, KN is already there.
Yeah, but you might be taken down here. These 2 scouts coming in, he didn't think they would play that aggressive, but the rest of them surely have to back out here, and it's still a good enough Uber advantage. Going to be, what, 50% here? Plenty of time to wait for your player to come back up, and I think this should be our first push and last. I felt it was quite nice there, how they kind of denied the medic leaving on that trade. Yak just kind of bumping the medic around so he couldn't get out as easily with his scout. And yeah, really, really crucial pick here. Looking good for Venomcrest as we do start things up there on 90% Uber. So we should be seeing a push coming out imminently.
Yeah, Sniper to deal with, Engineer to deal with. They're going to have to use this fairly early round the corner, but it seems like Yak and Junu are the 2 candidates for this one, launching all the way in behind the point. Gun not dealt with yet. Finally gets seen out just behind that staircase. That's going to buy a lot of time for this push out. The heavy back into BIGBLOKELAN. They're trying to hang on to this 2 for 2 in terms of frag, but this heavy is so much HP on the point, and Venomcrest, they're going to have to retreat away, and they might not be retreating fast enough because Sale is already in onto Eon.
Yeah, Eon surely dies here, and this just feels like a pet at this point, right? Like, you're not killing the medic for that long. I don't know why Eon doesn't just kill blind. You know you're going to die. You know you have no spawners coming up in time, and that has just completely, you know, removed any sort of...
Misses 2 spawn waves.
Oh, 2
And that's at 2 spawn waves. This was like a 15-second respawn, I think, and that's after backing out and living for 15 seconds anyway. This is a massive, massive advantage now for BIGBLOKELAN to try and work their way back in with But I say that, they've lost both their soldiers, and Venomcrest, with a heavy out as well on Vanu, are fighting this. They want to go. Piggles launched into the sky is going to have to use the Uber and just going to have to use it to leave, because Venomcrest, despite the disadvantageous situation that they were in, they're just able to hang on.
Yeah, really nice from Venomcrest. They obviously had the funny ha-ha heavy that we see of Vanu here, and I think that really helped things. But I was about to say, oh, this is surely going to be a coast-to-coast. They have no heals. If they play this right, it's going to be no problem. But they didn't play it particularly well there on the side of Bloats. Kind of rush things a little bit, losing those two players and allowing them to take second and have another chance for a last push. And actually, slight Uber advantage as a
slight.
20% is enough here.
It's
though.
enough, but it's one of those where you have to have one eye on the medic, right? You've got to be trying to catch Piggles in this Uber, because if a counter pop comes through and they are able to get back in, that's not the ideal start from Yak either. Beefing the jump on the way through, gun taking a little bit faster this time, but Piggles 3% away from his own Uber, just gets it in time, but never mind, it's not in time, because Venomcrest, they have stacked up the point and they get the first round on the board.
Yeah, just managed to get a couple players on that point. They were just all stuck in that spawn door, right? They were a little scared to get out, maybe a little caught back by them just coming through that left-hand side, and then the sentry gun dealt with very, very quickly. No one able to block it. That's all you need sometimes, right? A simple Uber advantage push. Obviously, Piggles only just got his Uber, so the 20% seemingly was enough, and it is Venomcrest going 1-0 up at the start of this match.
Well, we saw them have a decent attempt on mid last time. See if they're going to have the same success here also over towards Piggles' life. There's going to be big jumps across from Warped instantly, trying to catch Yak, but Yak is tanked up so healthy that Warped is the one to fall down. Piggles, in the meantime, has been caught in the backline, and now we are into absolute pandemonium here for the BIGBLOKELAN team. They're losing all their players. Geordie's going to run back and lose out that fight, but there's only Mac alive.
Yeah, super solid there from the side of Venomcrest. Just kind of collapsed on the right players at the right time. I mean, I think Yak living really helped, but then there was really good protection around Eon there at the end. You couldn't quite see it off the side because we were on Yak hammers. He was desperately waiting for an arrow, but there was some surf, there were some dodges going on from Eon, and he does manage to live and has another Uber advantage. And now I feel that Venomcrest know how they want to set up. Right, on this BIGBLOKELAN, they know where the sentry gun is going to be. They know there's going to be a sniper here. They know on Disad they're going to be on this left-hand side. So I think this time, as long as Yak kind of deals with this sentry, it could be a successful push, and they are pushing in straight away.
Here we go, Uber charge again as they come into his right-hand side. Gun down, spam pointed over toward the left-hand side. Sticky still yet to be cleared off the point. Has bought a bit of time for this defense. The heavy of Geordie doing good work also. And Venomcrest dropping players like flies. The heavy was not dealt with. The sticks on point were not dealt with for long enough. No cap time could come through really until the later moments. At that point, it's a forlorn hope. So many players have gone down. Venomcrest just have their medic in Eon running back home alone. But oh, the spawners might be there in time, and they are.
Yeah, plenty of time for Eon there. Not even a sweat on that man's forehead. Yeah, just gets out. I guess that's why you don't kill by every now and again. It's a bit of a silver lining keeping your medic, but it's still a full Uber coming in from the Bloats here as they do just bust in through Choke. No real damage coming up, but this heavy is just mowing them down, and no one is even trying to look at him. But I don't know if that matters because he is basically alone on this mid, and he is just going to get ran at as they do rotate around. Uber's about 80% here from Eon, so probably not going to have a big contest on second, especially as you did lose a player here. So it's going to be a bit of a coast-to-coast here. This is exactly what the Blokes wanted to before when they had the Uber advantage, but didn't quite execute quite as well that time. However, they know the gimmick, they know what's going on. But even Ubers from last, it's going to be a harder one here from the Blokes. They might just trade, they might sack, we'll see what they want to do. Setting up for some pressure on this right-hand side early here, trying to get the gun, I would expect, but losing a left during all of this, are able to get the sentry gun, but just going to let things reset for a little bit here. Now, Ben, if you're on this last, what plays do you like seeing? Do you like a sniper? Do you like the double sacks? What seems good to you?
It has to sort of revolve around trying to pressure and get a sack at the end of the day. Even if you're sort of pressuring with having a sniper and you're sort of restricting where the enemy players can move, like that's good and all, but at the end of the day, like someone is going to have to fly in and try and go for some attempt. Once the enemy lives, or you can catch players out of position in the lobby, and one soldier down, maybe this is going to make the pressure a bit easier because one less soldier, one less choke point being diligently defended, and below, and the rest of the big blokes are able to worm their way in through this left-hand side, walk the bomb in high, on towards the point, does a lot of damage, but not a lot of frags going their way now. Both soldiers down, And with a demo being caught in lobby, this is maybe push-outable.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, with 2 soldiers, you probably don't want to push out here. You're not really too time crunched, but getting that demo map pick is huge. That means there's no traps anywhere. And Pickles is in an awkward situation here. He's trying to dance around a little bit. Yeah, do have to get that trade, but I was going to say, do they even get it? They do eventually manage to, and it's not too bad of a trade. But Pickles is getting body blocked here. Oh, and he gets shot as well. He's going down here. That's a second awful trade here for the Blokes. This is uncharacteristic for Pickles. Usually he survives these, but it's looking pretty bad. They get Mac once again here, and now it's just Jordy to try to clean up house. Can he get any picks? Doesn't look like he will be able to. Venomcrest able to get to the second point, and the train does not stop on this team. They do not slow down. They keep going forward, and I expect them to take a minimum of mid here. Hit the second one. Oh, a close one from KN there. And look at this. They're on big Uber, but they want to kind of come in.
Eon doesn't have, so Eon has to be very, very careful, and is not careful enough because Warped is able to bomb in and catch that kill. Uber advantage means absolutely nothing if you don't have an actual Uber to work with, and they weren't quite careful enough there on Venomcrest. They lose their medic, they lose, well, basically everyone at this point. Vanu's the only one left alive. Middle point being held on to by BIGBLOKELAN, and it's even worse for Venomcrest, right? They're losing their second point already. They're not going to get any forward spawns, and Vanu might be getting cleaned up rather shortly. So there is actually potentially here for an early push into last, because Pickles is getting it Uber in about another 10 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. So now what went from something a little bit tragic is starting to look, you know, somewhat good here, as they will be setting up for a last push. Can they convert this to a round on the board? We have seen them try once, didn't go so successfully. Everyone just kited round into the spawns here. Mac is holding down that right spawn. Maybe they want to play it a little slower, destroying this heavy here. But Mac is also getting destroyed, does go down, and it's looking good. And Vano just chads it out. He knows he has big health. It's just 2 soldiers, too weak to do anything here. Vanu with the cheeky little taunt there, and a ha 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 ha, but with a couple of B's in there in chat, as they are once again able to push out to the second. I think they've been really good about capitalizing on these slight advantages so far on Venomcrest. Unfortunately, yeah, good play before previously from Warp to jump around, and now this is going to be a hard defense though, Ben.
It is, and they have cut the second point, but the point's turned red, but in terms of actual map control, it hasn't really flicked too far. Lots of mid-forward spawns came through for BIGBLOKELAN, and now they're able to get themselves into position, able to get themselves up onto the second point, and able to cap that one out. So we're back where we were a moment ago. Uber Charger's not quite ready yet, which might play into things a little bit. Do we see BIGBLOKELAN wait a bit? Do we see them go faster because of it? I'm not too sure yet. Junu paranoid as ever on the spy, trying to take some off classes, but for now it's all about the soldier pressure and the damage coming in. Gun taken down, Bloke gonna bomb in onto the spawner, gets one rocket on the medic, but does not get any more. Eon with the quick resupply bind there is able to get out alive, and the 4-man sack actually coming in to try and salvage that, but Eon was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we're just playing in that spawn door left, not able to get that first shot. And now look at this. Pickles, he's nearly at spawn, but there's going to be chasers coming in. No one manages to get on him. They're just going to slow things down, play this player advantage for a minute here. Venomcrest, they don't need to do anything crazy here. They don't need to try to go for this push out. They're a round up. They're kind of chilling. It's all on BIGBLOKELAN here to try to do something, to try to get something going. There's still plenty of time left, so not a huge, you know, rush is needed. You don't need to send everyone through one door and then to get just decimated by stickies here, but looks like they want to send Beam into Valley here, but it's just a scout and a demo man. It's actually a sack in at the other time, straight on to Yak. Big air shot coming out from Warps. No demo man, no stickies on doors, means you can start flooding through a little more if you want to, but they're not really in position here on the Blokes to do anything with it.
Yeah, it's awkward, right? Because you get the demo, but you're losing one of your soldiers, and your soldiers are the ones that would be making the benefits of that demo man not being there with no stickies. They're going to try and walk through anyway, knowing that there's no possibility of sticky traps on this main door, but they actually end up taking an Uber trade. Now things can get really messy. We've seen Pickles getting caught out in these before. We've seen Eon in danger as well, but this time it seems both teams respects it back up a bit. Warp getting caught out on the rollout there, I believe, in behind us. We are into a bit of a chaos mode now. Tiram in, trying to get the air shot onto Pickles, but a nice little surf around is going to keep Pickles alive. And as the dust sort of settles on that trade, it was a bit chaotic for a moment. BIGBLOKELAN have come out on top, only losing 2 players to Venomcrest 3. And again, this game just does not stop. They want to walk in anyway. Yak not getting air shot this time around, but is still under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, 1 health on Jordi there, but the players
down.
are being taken down. Yeah, just got taken down as they collapse around Jordi coming in from the behind here, but they've got to be careful as there's still pressure going on. The scout is deadly as ever. If he hits the shots, it could be really good, but the players of the Blokes keeping Piggles alive for now, keeping them in an uber advantage situation. But that was a bit of a scary one with those stickies from Yak.
Oh, absolutely. But this time around, it's going to be Ubercharge advantage again. Once more now for BIGBLOKELAN. And I've got to say, this game, the conversion rate on these hasn't been too great for, honestly, either of these teams. Obviously, Venomcrest had 1 success, but BIGBLOKELAN, it hasn't really been close. Last time we saw Mac fly in and do a lot of locking down on the right spawn, but the rest of the team just couldn't really get into support. This time, they're hoping for something different, and Tiram already in the respawn queue is going to make this so much easier for the floodgates to open and for these players to get in through the flanks.
Eon
now, Mac
dies
already
straight away.
on this left-hand side. Eon down already. The heavy can't get out of spawn. This has to be around.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that can really stop this here, especially if they take it a little bit slower. These scouts being a little bit of a menace, but Sale, a big Timmy 2 shots coming out here. Final players are collapsing. It's just Tiram. Nothing he can do here. Bringing it us to a clean 1-1. A bit of a more of a slog there. However, yeah, they look pretty solid during that. Lovely, lovely stuff coming out from Ward. Definitely was that round MVP during that here. But yeah, they found what worked on that last. Just come in from under. It's
Yeah,
simple,
I,
just do it
think,
from
I
under.
also think Tiram being dead makes a massive difference there, because the last times in the previous couple we've seen, the flank hasn't been able to get into support. We've seen Mac in there doing great work, but you can't get cap time, and if your flank are just getting wrecked before they can even get to the point. But it's equalised out 1-1. Mid-fight number 3 on the way, and again it's been a very aggressive start here from Venomcrest. Walk for the first casualty.
Yeah, both soldiers bombing in here from the Blokes, both taken down promptly here, and it looks like they should have to leave here. Matt getting caught again. This man needs to hit the jump maps. I saw that rollout,
Yeah,
Mac. I saw that jump out as well. You can't be doing that. How many hours do you have on demo, man? My friend, and look, again, they're just taking down a couple players as they do overextend a little bit. Now.
Yeah, trying to take some control in lobby. We're getting to a bit,
man.
Yeah, they're getting a bit chaotic now on this chase, right? There's a couple of players, both these scouts gone down. They both trying to do a diligent job, trying to keep Piggles alive, trying to keep any sort of control on second, but at that point, that hope is gone. Second point is flipping, and as soon as these players come up, they're even going to start trying to come into last. There's bloke over onto the sniper to try and deny something, but it's not as great for blocking the cap. This damage and these medics as well. This is getting so weird.
Yeah, it looked like they just wanted to try to send a second. Oh no, Eon's left alone. They looked like they wanted to send a second. What is going on,
is this game, man? What is this?
This is such a classic Yag versus Mac game where it's just absolute chaos at all times. It was like decent, right?
What are we watching? Oh, no way, man.
Out.
No way.
This is why you don't kill Bud, okay? You know what, Eon? I was saying earlier, make a kill Bud, okay? But that's fine. You're allowed to do it like that, okay? If you got the shrews like that, we allow it. We allow it. That should never happen, though.
There's a minefield of stickies in front. How on earth, on such low HP, is Eon able to get out alive? We've got Varno on the spy, by the way, in the meantime. Like, I don't even know what this game's turning into. There's still 12 minutes left, and we are already into madness territory here. Varnu chest bumping onto Piggles. I'm sure they're very aware of this. A couple of revolver shots come out. Is that going to be Q for any sort of sack on the damage? It doesn't seem so. Wow, there's no way he gets anything here, right? Like, if Varnu gets anything, I'm going to
Pyro as well.
I'm going to cry. If Varnu gets anything here, this is just
oh my God.
Terrible, man. Like,
yeah,
okay. Some normalcy is left in the universe.
Just for now. We're about to go on to last, though. If they don't lose any players, it should be even-ish here. Yak coming up, Vanu up in 10 as well, and they've got to kind of get held up and cap this point. So we should have players. We should have some sort of a last going on here as these players are coming in. It's an Uber charge used here onto Mac. Yak should be caught out here if he can hit a sticky.
Oh, no, what?
Right, Mac needs to be ridiculed after this game. This man's got to hit the DM servers, hit the jump servers. You got to do something, Mac. What is going on here? You've let them push out for free here. Oh no, Jordi.
This can't work. This actually can't work.
Okay, thank God. Cairn's watching it. Someone has their monitor on during this game, but this has been such a close one. It's so many beefs on what feels like should be sure round if they just slow down a little bit on both sides.
Yeah, there's a bit of LAN weirdness going on here, and there's going to be a peek in from Sale, who is the LAN debutant in the server, not able to land anything of too much value there over towards the Venomcrest team as they push in. Spawn is coming up, one forward spawn getting denied here over towards second, and that's going to be BIGBLOKELAN. They're going to have to back up a long way here actually, and this advantage is pretty serious for Venomcrest. They're going to cap up second quickly, maybe going to have time to get into last before Pickles has an Uber. Sale knows what's up, already building a gun, they've got a sniper as well, and now it's all on this Uber.
Yeah, I want to take it from under, see if they can catch a player early who's not aware that this might be happening, but there's no one there. Need to kill the gun. Now, trapping out this right-hand spawn, it's so strong here from Yak. Can't take this down this heavy. There's no one coming on through that right-hand side to assist him. And now everyone is such low health, but it doesn't matter because no one on BIGBLOKELAN stands on point, and now that's 2-1 to Venomcrest.
Yeah, really good play there coming in. We're going to get a replay of one of the craziest escapes I've ever seen in my entire life. How on earth does Eon live there? I genuinely couldn't even tell you. But Venomcrest, they live to tell the tale, and they get themselves a round up. And we knew this was going to happen, right? Eventually. Oh, they're not doing it. Okay, they baited BIGBLOKELAN. They also baited me because for a moment Vanu was up on heavy.
Oh,
with the sandwich out, was thinking about it, but no, we're sticking to 2 scouts for this 4th mid-fight.
We'll see what happens. Both teams this time have decided to take choke here, so we should be seeing a bit more of a rotate here. But look at this. Look how out positioned Yak is. This is the freest bomb of Warp's life here, but actually he backs out a little bit, but just a lot of space, and surely he has to go down eventually. But the rest of his team should be fighting, should be going for something. Yak's going to be screaming, go forward, try to kill them. They're on me. Do something here, and that's exactly what they do as they go in. They get Piggles, they get Mac, they get loads of players here. Eon is still alive, and it's just poor Sale.
I will say, like, the idea there of, like, trapping out Yak, like, I sort of understand there's maybe some benefit to not chasing that kill too hard, because whilst Yak's, like, outside of his own choke, he's kind of no threat, right? So long as someone's got, like, a rough eye in case he tries to go and walk back in, like, if you're locked out of a choke on demo, like, it's so difficult to just do anything at all. So I sort of understand that, but eventually Yak goes down and the collapse comes in. A really nice collapse there from Venomcrest. As again, we've been in a familiar situation here. It's going to be Ubrad into last as we see Venomcrest buffing themselves up. Eon getting the buff onto Yak, and the Uber charge is ready to come in.
Yeah, in the top right here is going to be Sentry Gun going down early. Going to want to rotate out to the left-hand side, do a load of damage coming in, but they don't trap these spawn doors super well. Taken down 2, 3, 4 early.
No.
It's pretty much just Eon alive. He's trying to dodge, he's trying to dive, but they got near enough nothing there. That was a very disappointing push.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty awful in terms of like the output of that Uber. It was not too nice. We've got Vanu coming up. I believe that's a gun in the forward spawn. I don't know if that's on mid or if that's going to be over on at second, but it's
just on mid.
I don't know. It's you never know with these things, right? Anything can happen. Gun spam down didn't last too long. I guess as now BIGBLOKELAN able to walk their way forward. It's still like this advantage, like this is serious, right? It's not even just an advantage that can get you into like an even Uber's position the enemy last. If they're really quick, this might turn into an add into last, and it seems like for now they want to keep walking this forward, and they are going to be at last in time to use the Uber in.
Yeah, surprised they kind of let it go so easily there. I feel like with that much of a disadvantage, you kind of just want to, you know, be slowing them down as much as possible, sending a lot of spam, but maybe they wanted to get a setup, but we'll see if that matters as Walt instantly tries to get on point, but oh, that's the jumper made in him. Unfortunately, KN just has the rockets to take him down here, and now they know these Ubers essentially have evened up here. It's Bloke going down, that's 2 picks. It looks like that might be enough for Venomcrest to have a cheeky little poke out, see maybe they can get a force, maybe they can have something to look for, but with Juno up in this sniper, it's obviously not going to be a full push out.
Yeah, and as well, like with 2 players down, I don't see BIGBLOKELAN sort of sticking around in the lobby where this sniper could really do too much, so Juno's just going to back up and just get back into position. Check those off classes, nothing to be found though at the moment for BIGBLOKELAN as they're coming back up stock standard on these 2 soldiers. So we've seen before these double sacks have gone pretty big. Was that the booties? Did we the boots check? That looks like it could be the man-treads. It is the man-treads on Warped. Here we go. Oh no, we don't.
And then
here we don't go. Never mind. We're not going.
We're just going to wait around for a little bit as they lose 2 players there on the blokes trying to go in for a sack. They always want to try to get that sentry gun down early, you know, if possible, right? Because it's just blast you away unless you have the man-treads. So I don't know why Warp wasn't allowed just to go in. Let Warp feed, man.
I will confess, I can't remember what game it was. It was a game in Prem, like, I think. But it might have been Div 1 last couple of weeks, I was heard and quoted calling the Mantreads utter woke nonsense in terms of sacking into last, because I do genuinely think I've never seen it work.
I've seen it work on Snakewater. That's it. That's the
Like,
only map I've
yeah, but
ever seen it work
what's
on.
what's
Because
like
you
the
just go
working,
so high.
but like what's the working rate on it? Well, we'll have to
low.
find. Oh, never mind. There
Yeah,
we go. Castor's
100%
curse.
in this game, though, isn't it?
There we
100%
go.
working rate.
That's what my utter woke nonsense earns me.
That is just the caster's curse there, as it is Eon going down. Now, this is the time to capitalize if you are the blokes. They are straight away in here, not waiting around, taking down Yak straight away. There's no defense on point here, really. There's a sentry gun, but that's about it. They're getting a couple of kills here and there, but it looks mostly like it's the players of Venomcrest that are going down as they're finally getting cleaned up on point. It will be the blokes securing a second round, tying it up at 2-2 here as the woke nonsense team takes a second round. We are only about 5 minutes by the time they roll out, so the time is getting shorter and shorter here. They kind of need to start playing fast.
Yeah,
Going to see any shenanigans?
It's not quite next round wins, but it's not far off, is it?
Yeah.
5 minutes left. There's definitely time for either of these two teams to make a statement and get a third round on the board and perhaps get a very quick win. Odd rollout here from Yak, going to rotate straight out onto this right-hand side. And it's going to be a bit of a slow affair for both these teams. As they just jostle around, as they get ready to rotate, it's going to be a bit of a split though for Venom, because they start walking across the point, spreading out, trying to get in and across this point, but KN, the first one to fall, and Eon down as well for these soldiers. This could be very, very rough now for Venomcrest.
Yeah, it feels like a reverse of what we've seen on the past couple of mids, where no one's able to get onto Eon. It's so easy to get onto Piggles, but it's the complete opposite this time, as KN just wasn't able to do anything, wasn't able to find any space, any opportunity to get onto Piggles this time, and it is just Tiram left alive, has to back out to last, and now they need to be a little bit worried if they're Venomcrest here, because this is very, very easy to, you know, get a good last push, make it solid. You've had enough chances now, right? You should know how they like to play, you should know what works and what doesn't against this team, and I think if they manage to kind of get a push in through lower here and catch, you know, a medic or a demo man, it could be near enough all over. Eon is on this crit.
Yeah, the medic
so
becomes more important,
should have
right?
it later on in this fight, as they do come straight in. Matt getting down that sentry, rotating behind the point, trying to find anything, but there's not really anyone showing their heads. The rest of the team is coming in here, locking down these doors, taking down that
Crits.
heavy
The
straight
crits.
away.
No!
They can't get it. They can't get on point in time. I thought surely that crit was going to get it like half a second, not even that too late.
That's the margins that we work with though with these crit streaks on last. That is about a second away from being utter nuclear annihilation on that point when that sticky comes in. The cap just in time. BIGBLOKELAN. They're 3-2 up. I said it wasn't quite next round wins, and now 3 minutes left. It has to be Venomcrest getting this next round if they are to tie this game and walk away with 1 point in this group stage. But BIGBLOKELAN, they can batten down their hatches. They can defend all they want, and they can try and hang on this 1 round lead.
Yeah, it's do or die here for Venomcrest, and they're going to slow it down for this one. They know there is enough time to try to go for some stuff. They're going to try to take it a little more carefully, except for if your name's KN and Tiram.
Pickles down!
But Pickles goes down to Tiram. Huge bombs coming in, and now they just need to keep Eon alive. This should be their only prerogative, is to keep this man alive and healthy. He's coming out with Yaki. He has a scout here. This is a good opportunity here. This is their best opportunity they are going to get for the rest of this game. And they might even be able to just leave these players behind, not doing
So
anything
rough.
here, right?
This is so rough. Look at the health on these players behind as well. Mac down to 20 HP. Bombs come in, trying to get over onto Eon, but not able to do it. Yak finally going down in this. And look at this collapsing
Nice
into
use.
Eon. They get the force. Massive, massive play there from the surviving players of BIGBLOKELAN. They're able to make it count. The behind players come back in and get the force.
You say this, but if they go fast enough, there's an opportunity here. If they go in right now, if they can get this pick, okay, and it was going to be so good. He wanted to do it. He wants to go in and get onto this medic to kind of even this out and get them a slight advantage here, but it's just not going to happen. They could dry push here, though, if they really
could
want
really-
to.
yeah.
It's so close, but they could if they need to, but they're not able to get a soldier in straight away from that left-hand side. Tiram comes in.
Pickles,
It's
90 speed
taken
down!
Pickles goes down again. Juno just comes in. It's a second miracle in this round, and now it is back to being advantage from Venomcrest. 2 minutes remaining. They're going to have to try to push out on blokes. They need to slow things down as much as possible. They need to try to get an Uber or a crit or something, or just make it as bad for Venomcrest as possible. Venomcrest now need to just play this perfectly. If they play this perfectly, they're going to draw this up.
Absolutely, it's all pressure on this final Uber
So
ad.
low,
Last
3 health on Mac.
Yeah, 3 health on Mac, and this crits, like, this isn't, like, if Venomcrest are quick, this crits just should be a complete non-factor.
Yeah,
Still
it's
only
not
at
coming
20%, the Uber charge already in from the top right-hand side. They're trying to stick you off the right-hand spawn, they're trying to rotate the spam over towards the left now.
Oh,
Yak
huge
doing
damage.
massive damage. Look at the HP bars over on BIGBLOKELAN. Venomcrest, they're trying to get onto the point, they're getting blocked. This is getting messy. There's only 3 survivors now for BIGBLOKELAN. They're trying to dive onto the point. Venomcrest, they're going to do it, they get their round.
With
And
1 minute
3 to
remaining.
3.
Wow, what a close one they've managed to make this here. It was looking so good for Venomcrest for so long. They were that 1 round up, and then they kind of lost the round, and then they were 2-1 up, and then they were looking super solid, and then the Blokes, they came back, they got 2 rounds, and Venomcrest, they only just got that by the skin of their teeth. Huge plays from Teram and Junu to come in there, get those off-timing stacks, get onto Piggles just before he could get that Uber and clinch themselves a very decisive 3rd round here as the clock dwindles. It's 30 seconds remaining. These players are going for pure logs here. I think if they stack it, they have time technically here, but they haven't really got the players on point, have they?
Yeah, there's no way. But no, honestly, back to that point you were making there about that off-timing sack, like, all credit there to Junu, right? Junu just runs in as like a sweep up on the sack, and Piggles was 6 HP after the initial bomb. And that's all it takes, that one scattergun shot. Like, Junu pays his life for it, but it's definitely worth it. We tie out 3 to 3, and on the balance of play, I think that's a pretty fair result.
Yeah. I mean, from what we were expecting from these teams, I think that's pretty much perfect, right? Yeah. We knew these teams were going to be close. They have a history. Yak v Mac, close once again, bring us to a clinching draw here. That's going to give them both a little less points coming into these further rounds. It might make a bit of a difference, and we will have to see.
Yeah, draws are extra punishing as well with no golden cap, right? You only get 1 point for a draw, whereas it's 3 points for when it's like football rules here. Yeah. And yeah, it's going to be a punishing one there, especially for BIGBLOKELAN. They looked so good. I said it was maybe next round wins with 5 minutes left, but proven wrong once again. But we can stop our talking because we've got some analysts here ready to dissect that utter crazy 3-3 tie. Take it away, the desk.
It's the deskless desk here on the analytical couch. I'm Tova Tabs. Joining me again is Condawg, and we've got Domaytoe, his resident to the couch as well. And don't worry, I've got my men on the ground. My men were in. They were in the sanctums of both of these teams. As the one that was in the Venomcrest sanctum, what was it like down there, Condawg?
Vibes are a bit tough. You know, it started off 2-0. It was looking pretty good, and you know, I like to say there was a bit of a medic diff towards the start. Piggles seem to be getting caught like 3 times in a row. They're going for these weird little trades, and then after that, Piggles is just dead. Eon's living. They're picking up those rounds. Obviously, we then see it go a little bit downhill. You know, the Mac lads, as I'm going to now call them, they start coming back a little bit. You know, they're getting back into the game, and that's when the sort of the mental side to go. Junu, Yak, they're at each other's throats. Yak's saying, we need to go slower. Junu's like, we need to go faster. You know, everyone's got different opinions. And it just, you know, I think that's why it ended up in this sort of 3-3 draw where it's a bit of uncertainty going on, Turbo.
Domaytoe, as our sort of man on the ground when it came to BIGBLOKELAN, what was the flow like there?
I mean, it's so funny how dynamic of a game that was and how the winning conditions shifted, because evidently it is complete inversely flipped to the sort of atmosphere that Condawg just described in the Venomcrest cabin. I mean, we were mentioning BIGBLOKELAN, loud people were quite silent as this entire thing started, because you're down 2-0, and yeah, Piggles keeps on being caught out, and the problem was also when they were approaching the mids, they tried, oh, let's go through the, no, Medic instantly dead, bombed, and then they tried to circle around through their own Tetris area. That also didn't work out because they weren't controlling the clock tower, and that was the main reason why they said, yeah, do we do a pressure play? Do we do a full like Uber push? They weren't really sure what that was. Like Mac was saying, yeah, there was a pressure play, and Piggles, why am I part of this pressure play? Like there was a distinct, like the coherence was not quite there, but they definitely turned it around. I unfortunately missed like the last 3 or 4 minutes when they tied it out once again, but they definitely did pull it back. So some difficulty in really scrapping together who's the main caller currently.
Condawg, we've got too many cooks and clueless cooks here. I mean, which team really, you had to kind of pick your poison, which team probably has it better? Do you prefer too many ideas, or do you prefer just I don't know what to really do in this game?
Honestly, Turbo, it's got to be too many ideas. You know, you don't want to be sort of running around with absolutely no clue where to go or what any direction in the game. You know, I'd rather have a team that has, you know, quite a few things they want to do, but you know they can figure it out after the game. You know, it's the sort of thing they know what they want to do. Sure, there may be too many ideas, but then they can figure it out after the game and find the direction that they really wanted to go into. And you know, when you got big, strong man like Yak on the team, he's gonna take over. He's like, Jinu, look, I agree with you, but I don't. This is what I want to do from here, you know. And he's really going to take it forwards, and I think it's going to be learning, you know, lessons to be learned at least for both of these teams.
Now, Domaytoe, obviously that ended in a draw, and they get 1 point. Both of the teams get 1 point for their trouble, and we keep 1 point because the house always wins here at poLANd.tf. But who's coming out of this looking at that tie more like a loss? Is there any team here that you kind of don't think are happy with a tie?
I mean, everyone is a winner, you could say. Everyone is a loser, you could say.
Ooh.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I'm going to big up Venomcrest, since I said, yeah, Venomcrest might have that maybe not handily in the back, but for me, they were a little bit more of the favorites here. But they ended up with a draw, so I would say on face value, maybe that renders them being sort of the losers in that sense, if you want to have it like that. But just a quick cursory glance, also a quick side note, we were talking about Pickles, who was constantly being caught out, but they definitely adapted on the side of BIGBLOKELAN. Like when they pushed, Mac always was able to trap down Eon in the sort of right side of the spawn area, not able to really leave out. And for me, it felt like those last pushes were really more of a defining feature for BIGBLOKELAN. So I feel like last pushes, you know, to nail them, it takes sometimes a little bit more practice, especially on what we just saw, Sunshine. Then maybe the mids, you can adapt more on the fly. So I would say that BIGBLOKELAN might be the big winner here of this.
All right, magical. Condawg, obviously, it's a very early in the tournament. Do you expect a lot of growth out of these teams for out of it, or is this as good as like these teams are going to get this LAN?
Well, Tomo, this is LAN. Right, these guys, they've come from home. They're used to playing in their home setups. You know, being able to look out the window at your favorite tree, perhaps. You know, now they're in a room with 20 other sweaty little gamers. All right, their favorite sweaty little gamers. But you know,
I wouldn't even say Venomcrest have their favourite in there. I'm pretty sure how they were at each other's throat. I think they're the least favourite.
I thought Yak was going to throat slam Jinu at one point. You know, but it's all right. I've lost my train of thought. Well, what did you ask me?
Is there going to be much growth out of these teams,
Yes,
do you
Turbo,
reckon?
yes, Turbo, of course. Because, I mean, it's LAN. You're getting used to the setup. I heard Taram having a little win. Just a bit cold in here. A bit cold. He doesn't like it. You know, it takes time to get used to the setup. Get used to the new room that you're in. And, you know, I'm sure these guys... It's only the second game, Turbo. Both of these teams expect to go deep into the tournament. And, you know, hopefully they'll learn a thing or two. And we'll see where they get up to later on.
One final note for us, Domaytoe. Are these two teams that you expect to see in that upper bracket playing off, or do you think that they've missed shy of that now because they both received that draw?
Still believing in Venomcrest, so I can cast them tomorrow on the upper bracket final. I don't want to have the biggest disclosure, but you know, I'm still expecting them to wiggle a little bit through this bracket, but it is very difficult because you have such a strong opposition. We have mentioned it numerous times on the record, and that might be a hurdle that is not so easily overcome. And the funny thing is, that is quite the parallel to their own season, when in the season itself they seem to drop points all over the place in the beginning weeks, where they were dismayed over that, and then eventually they ended up, you know, in the position that they're in. I hope that doesn't repeat on LAN for them.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We've still got a long journey ahead of us here at poLANd.tf to 2025, and well, we'll still be with you here on the journey. I've been Totas. With me has been the Condawg and Domaytoe, and we'll see you more for our next round coming up here at poLANd.